I still have not read it. Nope, I'm not going to read it because I already said I'm going to read Naruto Gaiden Chapter 2, or actually, Naruto Gaiden entirely, once it's finally done. It is not done, so I'm not going to read it. With that said, I still managed to get the information. I still managed to know what exactly just happened in the plot line. I don't get it, but you know what? I can't really comment anything more. I'm only seeing it from the fan. I'm only seeing it in my dashboard, so I'm not going to go dive in or anything about it. I can't even criticize because I don't have that much right until I read the actual chapter itself or even the entire thing, which it has not been done. So I'm not going to say anything about it. It's comedy, that's for sure, because I've been seeing a lot of WTF stuff. But you know what? I'm just going to wait up and see maybe down the line if it all makes sense. I know, making sense, that's cute. But you never know. I don't, maybe I'm giving too much chances. I don't know. Oh, but yeah, I only know a few information, and you know what? I won't bother to go anywhere about it. I won't even talk about it because, yeah, I haven't read it, so I'm not gonna try to criticize and then be like, "Oh, how can you do this? How can you criticize if you haven't read it, you haven't watched it?" Yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna do that. So I'm not gonna criticize. I'm not gonna talk about it, and that's about it. That's all I could say for the guidance. I'm just amazed I managed to find a lot of information without even to read it myself. But whatever. So let's get this start. Let's start this over. All right. This is episode 12 of Sparda's World Podcast, and I'm your host, Sparda 3G. Hopefully I didn't went off the tangent in the beginning because it is remarkable. I don't have to read the chapter and I get to know every information that needs to be said for this series. I don't know. Maybe it's just a curse. A curse that I just can't leave. And, you know, I have to see this. I have to read the entire Gaiden because I have to prepare myself for the movie. You know, Boruto. Which, that begs the question, where is this kid? I've been hearing that he's not supposed to be in there, or he's not supposed to be in the main role. Which is weird, because what makes me care about Boruto if I don't get to any insight of Boruto? You telling me I gotta get more insight of Boruto in the movie, rather than a build-up from the chapters? I don't know. Maybe, but either way, I do gotta read them, and I just hope for the fact that if they're gonna focus on other characters, I'm hoping they still gonna utilize them rather than like, oh, you get to know these characters, they were nice, right? Okay, we'll get to Boruto. The other characters, they're just there to fight Boruto in the tuning exam, whatever's. All right. So while I'm talking about the movie, let's jump right towards the news that actually involves with movies, which is funny because it wasn't a movie before, but now it is. So, what am I talking about? Well, let's start with this. So, as you may have heard, Digimon Adventure Tri has finally released more information as well as a release date. So, that's a good thing because God knows that we have not got any official release date, even though a lot of people have said we were supposed to get it in spring 2015, but it got delayed. I thought it was going to come in 2015 of spring, but it turns out it was delayed. And then there was a rumor spreading it was going to come out in July. And then it just said, nope, let's keep delaying it. And then they finally released the information. And that is a couple of things. Now, one of them is something that people might be a little pissed about. To me it's a nitpick, but the other part is a little bit disappointing. At least for now. I mean, in the hindsight, it will be a good thing, but for now, it will be a disappointing thing at the meantime, especially when you come from the hype that Digimon Adventure Tri has created, and it's mainly used on nostalgic, and that's no mystery. because it's the same thing for Dragon Ball Super. Super is based on nostalgic. And, of course, the series itself is always well known, and everybody still remember the series back in their head. And, when it comes to the West, at least the USA side, these guys is all about nostalgia, nostalgia, nostalgia. So, with Dragon Ball Z coming back to life, not only it break out the news, not only a lot of people got happy, not only a lot of people got them talking, they even go to, like, in the top trending worldwide from Twitter, most talk about in a Google search or whatever, Yahoo search, you name it. It was a big news because it has been 18 years since the last Dragon Ball series. And yeah, so that is a breaking news. But I'm only basing on that because it's the whole nostalgic factor. It is nice. I'm just not saying it never was a legendary anime, a legendary manga. It's just one of a kind. I guess you could say that. It is based on nostalgia, so that's all I got it from this. But if you think it's a legendary, it's a masterpiece, be my guest. But that's just not how I think. But anyway, we go back to Digimon Adventure Tri. Now this one is something that people have been waiting to see so badly in this state, that with the delays and without any new information, it just seems like, where is it? Where is that damn series? Now, one could say that you could blame Dragon Ball Super to cause the delay and even probably the project on how things work. And by that, I mean the fact is, this was a anime series. It's now a film series. So yes, this is a film series, a 6-part film series. Now granted, the upside is the quality can be good. It can be really good. From what I heard, Sailor Moon Crystal is a mismatch, mixed feelings from the fans. And I think doing a movie, at least the quality will live up to his name. Unless they still suck. But I doubt it. I hope. I hope for the best. I'm not hoping for the toppest tier quality, but I'm hoping for a really good one to the point that it's like, okay, this is better. This is better to do this way than have an animated series with all of them being a bit choppy and messy. So that's the upside. And there is a teaser trailer, which is great to see because I don't think we ever see any teaser. I don't think we ever see any video. So this is the first time, and seeing this was really nice to see. They showed a little small snippet of the battle action scene, which looks very promising. So I'm happy for that. Now on the downside is this is a film series. It's gonna premiere on November 21st. So yeah, that's a pretty long way, but that's not the only part. The only part is that we going to have a film series. And it's going to be 6-part. Now, the question is, how far these part movies are going to be between each other? So, November 21st is the first part. Now, the second part, we don't know. And that's going to be a lot of waiting. And yes, in hindsight, the quality, the idea would be good. But I feel like the anticipation to see weekly basis, sitting down on our chairs, couch, whatever, watching a new Digimon after so long, it feels nostalgic. It feels like you're going back trip in the memory lane. Only these guys are high school now, but my point is, you would feel like the nostalgic ways. Now you just have a film series, like you're about to grab a popcorn and, I don't know, night out or something. So it's not like we're gonna be like, okay, I can't wait for next week's episode. Now it's like, that was a good movie. I can't wait for like 3 months later. So that kind of is a buzzkill. And, even though the animation in hindsight will be great, I hope it are great. But, with Toei, you never know. But the art is rather different, but promising, no less. But yes, again, I don't know how far part of the movie series are going to be, but hopefully it doesn't take that long to release each other. So yeah, we're going to have to wait a long time, and that's a bit disappointing because I would like to actually go that nostalgic way to experience the episodes in, weekly basis, but I guess that's not the case. So that's a bit disappointing. Now, this isn't a nitpick, but the nitpick is that the voice cast is pretty much different from the last series. Well, Adventure 1. Because, I think a lot of people assumed that they was going to have the old casting member coming back for this new one because they have a anniversary. The anniversary special drama CD that was bundled in a Blu-ray box for the Digimon Adventure. And they have a drama CD that have all the majority cast doing their voice acting play. And I think they have a PSP game that they actually have some of the voice actors, the original voice actor in there as well. So it's like too much nostalgia has going wild on you. So the nostalgia just go crazy for you guys. So I again, this is nitpick because this series, this hype is all based on nostalgia. So a lot of people would love to see like a lot of things that's basically remind them of Adventure 1, not much of Adventure 2, because I keep hearing a lot of people did not like that much of Adventure 2, and rather try to ignore the last half, let alone the epilogue. But that's the other story. So yeah, this voice cast is completely different, but some of the choices they have, they seem very promising. So I know some are pretty new still. The other ones are somewhere that you hear many times, and even if you do hear many times, they do change the voice up. I mean, we got that Aaron Yeager guy. This guy could voice act so many different type of style. It's crazy. It's talented. I like that. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of differences in here, but again, in the long run, it's gonna be good, and I do think they will deliver a good job on these anime characters. Depends which group they play as. So yeah, that's the nitpick side. If you really want to see, if you wanted to hear the old voice acting and the new age characters, you're gonna be disappointed, but. Again, that's just nitpick, and I really didn't care that much. All I care is that I want to see it because I want to be in the nostalgic train. And unfortunately, that's become a film series, so yeah, that nostalgic trip may have to take a longer time. But hey, now we know the information. The animation looks promising. You got the little tearjerker at the very end of the teaser. Basically, the reunion, which will probably all you. And yeah, November 21st, I look forward to that. I don't mind to see the movie. I'm just gonna hate the waiting and not feeling like sitting down every week trying to see the new episode. But this is gonna be a good idea in the long run. So speaking of movies, and Dragon Ball Z with nostalgic, we might as well go with this one. Dragon Ball Z Resurrection of F, or Resurrection F. I don't even know what they're calling it anymore. Yeah, they finally topped the box office of Battle of Gods, and yeah, it's been after 19 days they topped it. So that 4 billion yen is very promising at this time, which is good for them, I guess. I don't know how the movie is, but yeah. Point is, the box office is doing good. They earn like I believe over 3.1 billion yen, which is about 26 million USDs. And yeah, 19 days already. That's really impressive. And I guess all the hype, the advertisement, the nostalgic, especially using the character named Frieza, because a lot of people has known Frieza for such a long time, and arguably one of the better villains in shonen history. So this is a good thing. This is great for them. Can they make it 4 billion? I think so. Maybe barely, but they probably will do it. I guess that's why Dragon Ball Super is happening, because you gotta let that money train keep running. So you might as well take advantage of everything you have. So yeah, this is the reason why we're getting Dragon Ball Super now. So either that's a good thing for you guys or the bad thing for the guys who really have enough with Dragon Ball. So yeah, which is interesting. The interesting part is that I believe that Detective Conan, Sunflowers and Inferno actually surpassed Dragon Ball Resurrection F in the box office. I believe they have 3.5 billion yen, which is amazing actually. I know the series is popular and I know it's really good. It's just I didn't think it would be. I don't think it would be Dragon Ball Resurrection of F in the same released window. They came out the same time. So interesting to see the priority of the Japanese fan base. So there you go. Yeah, that's all the movie news in general. There was also news that One Punch Man is already getting a voice cast member, slowly but surely, and seeing the character that have been placed, it's interesting to note that they're going about like 45 chapters or 50 chapters. I'm not really sure. I forgot what chapter they ended. But it seems promising that we're gonna get to see one of the best part of the series. Mine is the humor, but the art and the action is just incredible. So I'm happy to see we're going to that deep, and I don't know how many episodes we're going to get. I'm praying for 24 to 26 episodes because I know the series is still going on, and there's a lot of things to cover, and I think it's best for the Madhouse to end the series with a bang rather than just end it as some arc that is whatever and just end it there. Kind of like where Studio Period decided to end Bleach at Fullbringer arc and not end it at the Aizen, the whole Winter War arc. Because, the Winter War arc, if you ended there, it would have seemed like, okay, so this anime just pretty much covered the entire winter, the entire Aizen plots. So it's, with ending Fullbring, it's just like, okay, that's kind of weird. He just got his power back, and that's where we end. So yeah, I think they should just end it in the alien invasion in One Punch Man, because it will be a great way to end, and it will be a great way to showcase the awesomeness of the series. So here's to that. All right, that's it. We ain't done here with the news and news. So I know a lot of them are based on the movies, but hey, that's all I got. And there's some other news, but not that much to say. You got the ranking, the comic ranking, Japanese comic ranking, but we gotta get to the whole meat and potato. And I'm looking forward to next week to going back to the regular self schedule with the entire manga releases, and I'm still doing my things in the background, like reading other series and even watching some anime I have not yet addressed here, but I'm going to address in my Tumblr very soon, including the fact that I got this nice sweet device. I'm probably going to be more on schedule and more work ethic, I guess you could say, for the lack of better words. So, with the podcast, I can finally release them much earlier schedule rather than like a little bit later schedule in the same day, but I want to release it on the first thing in the morning. So, yeah. All right, let's get to the next thing. And that will be the chapter reviews. And I'm not going to do a transition here. I tried to do the transition with the last episode with Tokyo Ghoul. You hear the Unravel, which I still love that song. I know. I don't know. I don't even know if you guys already overplayed out. Probably already did. It is a 2 years old song, but who cares? That song is damn awesome. But if I'm trying to test that out to my transition, so I don't need to say like, all right, let's go to Tokyo Ghoul. Instead, I could just start off with the song, and then I could just start talking some gibberish thing based on the series, and then we get to the chapter. Get a segue in there. Instead of like, all right, this is Tokyo Ghoul, like that. I'm not going to do it here. So I'm going to let you know I'm doing One Piece. I'm doing Bleach. I'm going to let you know here. All right? So let's get to the chapter's review. So, without transition, I might as well go straight to the point. We're going to Bleach Chapter 625. Speaking of transition, I don't know what to use. Maybe I should use the first opening, because a lot of people like that first opening, right? Maybe a second? I don't know. I really don't know. This is what happens when you don't make anime anymore. Whatever. So anyway, we're getting to Bleach 625, and I'm gonna be honest. I know not much happened, and it seems like a pretty much of a reunion chapter. I enjoyed this chapter. Probably because, again, it has to do with the reunion. But mainly, to me, it has to be the interactions from these characters. Especially like with Ichigo and the other guys, like Grimjaw and the rest that I will get to very soon. So, I enjoyed this chapter, and it was entertaining. There's not much to say about this chapter, just entertaining stuff. I know people will brag about it's just a big reunion, be like a big fan service and stuff like that. And one scene that maybe if you take it too seriously, you probably find yourself thinking this chapter is this character is so demeaning. But I don't know. I didn't think that much hard about it because it wasn't meant to be that way, at least in my opinion. I think it's just something like a comedy effect more so than a realistic drama effect. Then if you take it too seriously, then well, that's not good. But to each of their own. So we get to the chapter. Grimjaw's back. A lot of people were happy, and we pretty much gotta wait 2 weeks for this chapter to release, and here we are. We got Grimjaw coming back. Ichigo looks like he's ready to do something, like he's about to fight or something like that. Because it's understandable that Grimjaw once was a villain, and he was a challenger to Ichigo. So it's a no-brainer that Ichigo should be prepared to anything necessary. So they talked to each other, and it was like talking about, oh, you remember the scars from me? That scar that you got from me? Well, it looks like it got healed already. It's like, of course they did. You're looking well too. They're talking to each other like they're about to bout. So before they even get to bouts, we got one other character coming back and pretty much give you the idea that Grimjaw, regardless that he still wants to fight Ichigo and pretty much wants to kill him, get his revenge. There's a little different story to that because we have Nell. Yeah, Nell is back. All charming and cheery, but now grown up, and I forgot she does this. So yeah, we have her back. So another old character coming back again to the series, and she hugging him out, telling him that Urahara gave her armband that actually lets her to be in any form she wants, though it think she may not able to go to the young one, the childish one. But because, the circumstance right now is all about firepower, and you need the more firepower to the team and everything like that. Then we have Orihime just looking at her like shocking gaze. Now here's the thing. This is a scene that people may be a little bit confused and maybe taking one interpretation to another. Now, you could go one side. In one side, in this scene, Chad's telling her, you might be thinking, Cripes, why would Urahara make something like that? But let me tell you, that's not it. He's doing his part too. And Orihime is like, oh, come on. There's no way I think like that. Now, this interpretation you would think of. On one hand, you would think you would think that Chad is reminding her the time in the early in this arc that she ended up wearing that clothes that pretty much that expose her melons. Let's go with that. So this is actually reflection to that more so to the other interpretation if you want to go to that one, and that is, oh, now she has a love rival because now can grow up instead of like a time limit. And not only that, the fact she could hug him out all day she wants, it's a love rival. Oh no, stuff like that. Now, if you're gonna think that way, you gotta think of a comedy effect because this is obviously going for a comedy effect. And it should not be too serious. You should not think of a drama piece serious. If that's a drama piece serious, then I guess I could understand why you would dislike her more than ever. But yeah, with that said, if you go with the first interpretation, it makes sense. And again, it's still comedy relief. Because Chad, again, he remembered that Urahara offered her clothes that expose her melons. And pretty much, this is the same thing. It's like, oh, now Noah's grown up, and she's grown up. Now she's grown up. She, has those as well. And Urahara did the offer, so it made it seem like, oh, gee, I am such a perverted man. So, that's one way to think over. And I guess that's why maybe it is the first option. I don't think it's a second option. I could be wrong. But I like to see it as the first option. More like, oh, God, Urahara is being a pervert, is he? So, it's up to you guys. But I could kind of see where the hate come from. But at the same time, it's not really justified. Because it is a comedy relief to begin with. So let's not go deep on that, shall we? I mean, I understand the other series actually proved me wrong, which is sad because the other series actually made it worse. But, the point is, in here, I don't think that's the case. And I really hope that's not the case. So, Grimjaw, again, coming back. And, we have a lot of interactions from these characters. Now going serious, telling about talking to Grimjaw. Since, they were in the whole Sparda class system. And, numbers doesn't mean anything because Ice is no longer here. But hey, you want to talk about number? Let's see who deserves to be number 3. So, yeah, it's like these characters are interacting with each other, talking about a lot of things that really reflects their status quo and all that other thing. And then we finally have the other characters that actually made the last arc not so heavily irrelevant, thankfully, because Lord knows that arc really felt like had no relevance outside the fact that Ichigo got his power back, and I guess a lot of people got their power stronger, but you could have still done this in this arc, so it really doesn't matter. So, what I'm talking about is Ruka. She's back. She's back, and not only that, even Yukio. So yeah, that boy with the games and the girl with the bunnies, plushies, and all the other toy stuff, they're back. So yeah, more nostalgic fan service, as you want to call it, which provides more interaction from these characters. So again, I guess the interaction is what saved this chapter. And, of course, the fan service. It depends if you like these fan service, you probably like this chapter a whole lot. And if you don't like this fan service, then you may think this chapter is whatever's. But yeah, it still has a lot of a lot of character interactions and all that other stuff. And then we have Yorchi. To me, I actually find this scene funny. Probably because the panel placement. The panel placement was really smart way to do it because, Ichigo is like, holy crap, I got Grimjaw, now Ruka, Yukio. I don't even know what to expect anymore. And then she asks, so, what is it that you want to ask me now? Or you want me to tell you right now? Ichigo's like, everything! What the hell is going on? Everything is it just come out of nowhere. I don't even know what's happening anymore. So, this is actually kind of funny scene. I mean, I don't know. It's been a while seeing Ichigo looking like that. So, I gotta give it credit where it's credit due. And, Chad is like, he is right. I don't even understand what's going on anymore. So, Yorchi's like, all right, fine, I'll tell you. And she has that face like, oh, God. So, they explain this whole scenario. And, they explain how they even get to the social society in the present world, how they made it connected by the Daiken. Or, explanation that it works that way. And, they had these little pockets called the Kyogoku, which become the gathering ground for souls that have escaped. And, it's a lot of explanation. They actually try to manage to, in a way it makes sense how they managed to get there. More or less it makes sense. So I didn't mind too much about this whole scenario and how these characters got here. Because again, it's been around for quite a long time. Yeah, this arc is dragging, no doubt about it. It's just that we finally get to see where this whole plan comes in, and that's how these guys come out. This is how these Fullbringer characters make a use of their work, even though some of them were not accurate according to Yukio, but whatever's. And, just doing a lot of things, use the abilities to make it work. And voila, that's where they got that giant cube box. That pretty much they moved the entire Kyogoku into a box. So, yeah. I mean, the explanation is there. It for more or less makes sense, and I didn't mind too much about it. So, at least they had to manage to use these characters. I just hope they're not there just to do that part and they don't do anything else. Because I don't want to be just a pure fan service. I want to be everybody finally working together and everybody doing their job. Making a lot of arcs not so much of a waste. At least in terms of characters. So, yeah, they're getting ready for this epic climax battle that pretty much gets to the end of the series. I wonder how this is going to end. So, yeah, that's pretty much they're getting ready for the big counterattack. Then we get to see the Quincy. They're doing their interactions. It's pretty much a lot of meanwhile scenario in this story. And, it seems like Ishida either feeling uneasy that Yaoch is becoming a Soul King, or becoming just as powerful, if not stronger than the Soul King, or the fact that maybe Ishida really started to feel a little bit regretful on tagging his best friends, back in the reunion they just had. So I'm assuming it might be the latter, or maybe a mix of both, because now we're getting to see Ishida like, yeah, this is getting bad. So it makes sense to his character. At least he's not trying to be a total dick. So yeah, this chapter itself was enjoyable. I enjoyed this chapter, and I didn't not much to say about the chapter besides the fact that everybody's reunion. You got this whole going back into full circle in terms of these characters, and it's like, hey, we're gonna work together because we're in the last arc, so why not? But other than that, it was an enjoyable chapter because of the whole characters reunion, the interactions between each other. It got some funny scenery with the Ichigo at least. I don't know. I find that a little bit funny in my opinion. It's been a while with Bleach doing these kind of things because Bleach is a slow pace and it could have been in such a much bigger series, but I don't think it's such a bad series. I think it's just a bit of miss potential, or maybe the potential already hit the peak back in the Soul Society arc. But for what it is, it's doing okay. It's doing, for its own kind, it's doing good. I'm hoping it ends with a bang, not with a whimper, or a good way to send out to the fans to say thank you for enjoying this series. There's something like that. Anything, So for what it is, it's not a bad series. It's not a god awful series. I don't know for sure where these people get the idea from, but I know a lot of people feel betrayed with it later on, or maybe they just don't like Bleach at all, which I don't mind. I don't mind if they don't like the series, but I'm just saying, I don't calling the worst. I find it reaching too far. So that's just me, at least. And then we get to One Piece, which I thought was a pretty good chapter with something that could be either a good thing or a bad thing for the next chapter. I'm not talking about the quality, I'm talking about the hero. I'm talking about Luffy, and for this sake. Because to me, I feel like it's not over. At least until I see white eyes, because that indicates he's knockout. Then again, Don Flamingo's sunglasses is pretty intact, pretty damn perfect. It's like it's glued to his eye socket. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But let's get to the chapter, shall we? Alright, if you remember, Gear 4 is pretty badass. It's pretty broken, no less. I still don't know the side effect, but I do believe we're going to start seeing the side effect in the next chapter, or maybe... No, actually, I do believe we're going to see the side effect in the next chapter. In this chapter, they pretty much saying that the time is almost out, and when the time is almost out, you know what that means. That means that Gear is going to pretty much take the toll on the body. Gear 2nd was taking a toll on his body with the blood system, because it uses blood. You know, when you have low blood, you're obviously going to get tired, and you're just going to be feeling weak. Gear 3rd is where the bones comes in, and after the time limit, your bones will shrink to the very smallest density, and that's where he becomes super vulnerable, and that's just not a good thing. So Gear 4, I don't know. This is based on muscles and obviously a lot of hockey. So I don't know what exactly is going to base on. Will you turn to a rock? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not much of a health guy. So if you could fill me in, what could be the side effect? Be my guest to tell me what is it. So yes, we're seeing Doflamingo getting his ass kicked more and more and more. And pretty much everybody starts to realize Luffy is actually kicking his ass. And, you know, nobody really cares who is this guy. As long as Doflamingo is out of the picture, that's a good thing. That's what they all care for. And you can't blame them, because Doflamingo has been one hell of a guy in terms of, like, dictatorship and all that other stuff. And, of course, Law and Cabbage are still watching him. Law is realizing that he is using too much of his haki. I don't know if there's going to be a side effect to that. I don't remember anybody else using haki this much in one scene. So seeing Luffy doing this much, I don't know if this is going to be a side effect, and if there is, I guess that's we're going to have a balance to the entire hotkey system. So we'll see what happens about that. But then we have this Burgess guy, the guy from the Blackbeard Pirate, and he is watching the game, and sadly he is still around and alive and all. I don't know what is this game, but I don't. It is a obviously something that we're going to see aftermath of the fight or the aftermath of the art, and that's where those whole main storyline will get more progress. So in this case, with this guy from the Blackbeard Pirate, we don't know what's his game. So in due time, we're going to know about him, and I just don't trust him. Damn that wrestler. So we have pretty much everybody running away because the string is gonna kill them. Kind of sound funny when you say it that way, but that's what's happening. The string is killing people because it's gonna crush them. Everybody's gonna get crushed. Everybody's gonna get sliced, and yeah, it's pretty much death zone. And Zoro is still gonna try to find a way to buy some time, which I don't know how it's gonna work. But because of that, I do believe that's where the idea that Don Flamingo is not over in the end of this chapter comes in, because what was the point of Zoro trying to do that if Don Flamingo is taken out, unless it does it by itself even when Don Flamingo is KO. But I don't think that's the case. I do believe because Zoro is still trying to do this method, I think that's the reason why we got to think that Don Flamingo is not over. So again, they're still fighting each other, and this is where something a little bit I don't get. And this is something, it's actually interesting at the same time, but I don't get how this works. And that's pretty much the idea of the Devil Fruit awakening. Now, there's a lot of spoilers. It was a weird one because a lot of spoilers, they were saying the explanation of the awakening has to deal with darkness in your heart, and that's the only way you have to unlock it. But it never said it in here, so I guess somebody made it up. Then there's a spoiler that says Luffy cannot do it, which is true, but at the same time, it doesn't say it. So in other words, there's no real explanation of this Devil Fruit awakening. It's just awakening when you're like see the possibility of the new world, a whole new world, or something like that. And I don't know what it does. I mean, I know what it does, and it's insane. It pretty much goes back to Crocodile when he was saying that the more you use your Devil Fruit, the more you can actually understand and pretty much see the peak of a power. And so I believe Don Flamingo see the peak of the power, and that's the awakening, which pretty much he could make everything into strings, even into the entire buildings, which that's just insane enough. So again, I don't know what exactly is the requirement, and requirement. If anything, it's the requirement. Why Don Flamingo knows this? But then again, I guess this is where the whole the strongest people like Kaido. I guess this could explain those kind of scenarios, how people could be this powerful. But we'll see. A lot of people would like to bring out a rumor that Blackbeard, Teach, he probably knows the awakening as well, which probably explains how he managed to steal Whitebeard's Devil Fruit. Which could explain that, but we'll see. We're only making theories. We're not having no confirmation because we don't even know how it works. I wish we did, but it seems like we got to play the waiting game. So, kind of sucks. Again, we're seeing more and more people creating this atmosphere of the world's ending for them. A lot of people are giving them hope. A lot of people cannot run. A lot of people cannot do any help because everybody's fear. Everybody's just have a mind of fear all over them, so they won't even bother to do anything else. They can't even talk perfectly right. It's just crazy. It's the atmosphere creating from these characters, these villagers, and then you have the former king, the former king Rico, doing the talking, and sorry, he's doing the talking. And pretty much he's doing the addressing to everybody that, you people act like Well, okay, not act like you people are seeing the terror, the whole bird cage, everything about her. The whole terror of Don Flamingo. Here's the thing: you realize this right now. It's not a dream and everything, but even though this thing is the worst case scenario, you do realize you've been in the cage for so long, and that's pretty much the village, the island itself. Why? And the fact that you've been here for 10 years already. That's how long, and that's the reality. That the reality is they pretty much are in the birdcage for so long. Now the birdcage is finally getting smaller to only to kill them and end their life. So Don Flamingo is the one that pretty much made this entire thing work. It just only happened to be that the worst case scenario is going on right now, and that is death. So you've been enduring this for such a long time. So you're now seeing the destruction, but you should not even give up hope. You got one guy who's fighting Don Flamingo named Luffy, and whether we win or lose, all will be decided in a matter of minutes. So instead of just like stopping everything, just keep on trying and keep on running to live. Don't push and run each other. Keep running and running and running. Just live on, because there's always going to be hope. So, thankfully, it wasn't too much focus on Luffy. It was more focused on the understanding that the people has been living in hell for so long that now it's finally speaking to you that you've been living in a birdcage for this long, and you've been you've been enduring this, so now it's time to endure furthermore and to not give it up hope, because not only you been passed through this for 10 years, you even have the Straw Hat Luffy guy fighting Don Flamingo, who is pretty much terrorizing everybody in general. So you gotta live on and stop standing what you're doing. So pretty much everybody got to act on their own, which is good. So if it was about Luffy, I would just say it's alright speech. But again, I know the speech, it takes too much time of the chapter, but in my opinion, it needed to happen because you gotta create that atmosphere, which Oda is known for that. And obviously he always makes these arcs mean something, or makes it a very long journey, worthwhile scenario. That's how a lot of scenes, like Alabasta art. That's how they make it so meaningful, because of the scenery, the atmosphere they created in order to make this into a one giant epic proportion. The same thing for Skypiea. I know Skypiea didn't have that much relation to the entire storyline, but it did create its own atmosphere, and it makes sense how it comes to the end and make it with a bang rather than just a normal end. Same thing for Water 7 arc. It's like this. So it's not such a. It's not. It has a generic target in some way per se, but it does work for this arc that lasts so long. I think we've been here for 2 years, right? So, I didn't mind this part. And again, it created an atmosphere that it needs to be. Now, I know people are not going to die. That's one thing I'm always going to remember about One Piece. But maybe I could be wrong. But I strongly doubt that, to be honest. So, we'll see. Anyway, that's about the speech. Luffy, time is running short. So now he has to end this match once and for all. He made himself into a cannon. That's smart. He made himself into a cannon with his head, pretty much trying to beat the hell out of Don Flamingo. Then he used, I guess, his big weapon, and that's a Gomu Gomu no Leo bazooka, which kind of looks like a Hadouken to his face, or a Kamehameha, but there's no beam, so I'm gonna say Hadouken, the cheap one. So then we got the Hadouken. Then Don Flamingo just straight up went to the palace, and pretty much you don't even know if he's KO thanks to the invisible sunglasses he has. So yeah, that's how the chapter ends. It pretty much gives you the idea: is the battle over, or the battle is still going on? And to me, I think the battle is still going on, and I do think we're going to see the side effect of the Gear 4, because every gear so far has a side effect. I do believe there's gonna be. I do believe this one might be a big one, and I don't know how this is gonna plays out, but again, this is pretty good chapter. I enjoyed this chapter so much. I don't know how the cliffhanger. I don't know what the next chapter unfolds, but I'm hoping for a big climax ending for this arc. we're getting there. We're actually getting there. We're actually getting there to see Doflamingo lose. So there's a lot of things we're getting there that have been waiting for such a long time. It's kind of unreal, to be honest with you. But hey, that's what happens. So yeah, I really enjoyed this chapter. So can't wait for the next one. See what happens next with Doflamingo and Luffy, and maybe even Zoro. We'll see what happens now. That's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, because I know the next one I'm going to put more work, and especially where Golden Week is finally over, everything's going back to the normal schedule, more chapters to review, more anime to watch for me in the background. I will talk about more things. I got my equipment that I need that I'm going to start posting in Tumblr more and more often and whatnot, and it's going to be some more extras as well. I'm going to start doing a lot of things, more progress, and I'm going to have, I guess, a better improvement for my podcast. I'm still improving. I am. I don't know if this is I don't know how long it's going to take me, but nobody's perfect. And to be honest, I'm still trying to beat this nervous system in me, even though I'm not talking to anybody around me, but I got to beat it because it's just holding me back. I guess because my vision is just not realized yet. So I'm still working on it. But see, there you go. That's part of it. But seriously though, I am getting better. And I am going to improve more and more as time goes on. So do watch me to improve myself. And I hope I will make this podcast a very good one for you guys to listen. And do spread the words and subscribe if you haven't, and let them subscribe me as well. I'm going to do a lot more things from this point forward. So until then, I see you next time for more podcast episode. Take care, everyone.